before starting your pen testing process on your live projects, it's really important to identify those issues which are, which we have found in the vulnerability assessment. So today is a very important class of a free bug hunting, 100-day free bug hunting, day number 11. Today we are going to discuss about, once a pen testers complete their vulnerability assessment, what will be their next steps before getting head towards the penetration testing phase. Just because pen testing require more efforts and there is a less chances if the application is already tested multiple times, so you will find less bugs or more critical bugs you will be able to find out during the process. So as per the industry, like we are coming from an industry background, and how we pen test, and once we complete a vulnerability assessment, how we verify those vulnerability which we have identified into the vulnerability assessment phase. So today is a very important day, guys. Everyone please mark your present here in the comment section, because end of the series I will be going to give you a free certificate of bug hunting. So please make sure that mark your present over here. Also share this video on your LinkedIn so that we can verify. If you have shared it, then only you will get the certificate. Okay, now coming up to the process, because I am running right now a ZAP proxy. As we already know, in the last class we have discussed how to run the scan by making use of a ZAP proxy, and we have seen all the features that is present inside the ZAP proxy. Recently I have identified one new feature that is recently added, okay, or maybe that the software was a little bit old. So as you can see now, there is a scan policy is there, okay. In the scan policy there are different type of policies are there, okay. Right now my Ajax spider is already running, and after once it scroll everything, then after that it will go for an active scan, okay. So right now, as you can see here, the option given by the ZAP proxy, previously when we were testing the vulnerability, when we are doing the vulnerability assessment by making use of a ZAP proxy, so previously this particular option was not present, that is a scan policy. And right now you can see there are different type of a scan policies are there. I will just show a few of them so that at least you understand how you can make use of it. And I know that slowly check marks are is doing multiple type of a changes into the platform. So definitely after some time this is going to be a paid version, or maybe some kind of a community edition definitely will be there for us. And there will be a professional version also, just like a Burp Suite. As you can see here, the first one is an API. If you wanted to test an API of any platform, let's suppose an application is there, you want to do a vulnerability assessment of an API, so you can run this scan for the API. If you wanted to test the dev full is there, dev standard is there, okay. Then after that, QA, quality analysis, if you want to do it, so for that also we have a full and standard and sequential. So it means slowly a ZAP proxy is coming up with different type of a features that your Burp Suite is not having, which makes this product a vulnerability assessment software different from other vulnerability assessment software. Okay, right now as you can see, Ajax is running approximately 300 plus URL. It is crawled. Now after that, as you can see, we have this particular alerts. Now once you complete your entire process, the vulnerability assessment process, once you complete this entire process, after that you will have a report that contain a mix of vulnerability. It's not a single vulnerability, that's a mix of vulnerability. Some vulnerability maybe you are aware about those vulnerabilities, some vulnerability which you have you have seen into the result for the very first time. Some vulnerability actually exists into the application, and some vulnerabilities are there which is not present into the application. It's just the software is showing that this vulnerability is there, but when you go and test that vulnerability, actually it is not. Getting a point? So once you complete your vulnerability assessment, now from an industry point of view, I wanted to advise you this thing. Like when you are going for any project and the client is clients keep on checking that what you are doing and what type of a test you are conducting, make sure that do not conduct a test by using a one vulnerability scanner. You can use multiple vulnerability scanners. Okay, let's suppose if you have a Burp Suite professional license, you can use that as well. You can use this Burp Suite as this ZAP proxy as well. there are multiple other softwares which are available in the market. If you have an access to those vulnerability scanner, try to use that, but make sure in which condition we do not perform this vulnerability assessment. During the vulnerability assessment, as you can see right now, there are multiple requests that keeps on, like that we are keep on sending multiple requests on the server. Definitely it will increase the load on the server, and if we are running this particular vulnerability assessment scan on the live side, it may go down, or maybe your database contains some raw traffic. So that's why it's always recommended to use this vulnerability assessment process only after the working hour, when the website have less traffic, maybe in the late night, or maybe the organization need to provide a separate set of set a separate environment. It can be the UAD environment in our industry. So testing environment should be provided to do the vulnerability assessment. Okay, now as it is doing the edgex scanning, okay, I'll just scroll this, go to the next one, that is a scan one. Okay, 761 request, it's initiated, crawl, URL it crawled. Okay, now it will go to the next one. Now, wait a second, just hold a second, it starts. Now, in the alerts, how we will identify each and every vulnerability, today we are going to discuss this. And if there is any false positive, then we will remove that vulnerability as well. This is our primary object. So that, like, when you are going to, and today we are also going to create a report also, because now once you complete your vulnerability assessment phase, coming up to the initial phase of a pen testing, where right now we are not doing a manual testing, but whatever bugs that are listed over here in the alert section, we are going to manually test and identify if this vulnerability is there or not. At the same time, we need to create a report also. Now, report format can be different from each other. Okay, maybe your organization contains a different type of a report format. My organization contains a different type of a report format, but a standard report format that we generally follow in the industry, I will tell you that how to create that and how to put the information. If you wanted to make use of a any AI model like a chat GPT or Gemini, yes, you can also use that, because that will also give you a detailed answer. Okay, so I will tell you how to write a report as well. Okay, so now let's suppose the first vulnerability is the absence of anti-CSRF token. Okay, now when you are reading this absence of anti-CSRF token, okay, Vishal Blogs, I think you reached on the wrong video. So kindly, what you can do, you can go to our Hacker Blog channel, that is for the Hindi language. This is Hacker Blog English, only for the English language. Okay, now as you can see, it's the absence of anti-CSRF token. Okay, so the first thing that you need to see, that what is CSRF. Okay, I will just tell you. Okay, so now first thing that we need to understand, for every vulnerability, it won't be like that the vulnerability is there, you are just taking us seeing the POC, putting the POC over there in the report. No, don't do such thing, because when you are going to present this report in front of your client, it will they may ask you what is this anti-CSRF token and how it is going to impact our application. Guys, remember one thing, finding bugs, it's not only the task of a pen tester, but also explaining their report. Okay, and writing the report is also part of a pen tester. That's why make sure that whatever bugs that you are finding, okay, the client will look for two important feature when you are going to present any bug that your website contains this bugs. So the client will ask you two things: severity, okay, why it is high, critical, whatever it is, medium, okay, impact, the impact exists, then what will be the solution. Not only solution, the alternative method. Understood, guys? So when you are going to the client with your report, the first thing that the client will ask you, what is the severity of this particular vulnerability and why it is there on the critical level. Okay, maybe for some vulnerability which comes on a critical high level, the client do not want to put that particular vulnerability onto the high level. They want you to downgrade that vulnerability because why they wanted to downgrade their severity. The first thing, critical and high, they cannot take an exception on critical and high. They have to resolve it. Might be possible for some particular feature, they cannot change that particular feature if you have raised a critical vulnerability, and it's gonna take longer time. Sometimes the client come to us, and by saying that day after tomorrow I have to present this particular VAPT report to my client, and within this duration it's not possible to change some to fix that vulnerability into the code part. So they want to run the scan, okay, identify the issues. Some basic issues will be there, we will fix it within a day, and you run the retest, okay, and give us the clean report so that we can present this to the client that yes, I have conducted this VAPT. This is a very wrong practice. As an auditor, you have to make sure that the client that you are getting, the audits that you are doing, it should be proper, okay. So that's why the client will always argue on this high and critical vulnerabilities. They only have a focus on a critical and high just because they need to fix this vulnerability. Also, they do not want it to show this to their client, okay, that our application, we have coded our application with critical bugs. No, they want that vulnerability assessment is a part of an audit, okay. They wanted to present if they are selling their product, software, service, any kind of applications. So definitely the client will look for that, have you conducted a vulnerability assessment and pen testing of this application? If yes, then can you please share me the report? This is very much important. That's why the client argue on this particular severity. Another one is, what will be the impact? Most of the vulnerability do not make a big kind of a impact. So you have to tell them what will be the impact of this vulnerability. If they do not fix, maybe they will take an exception that okay, in our upcoming version we will fix this issue. But impact plays a very important role. With the help of that, you can convince your client to fix that issue. If you are unable to convince your client with the impact, they will simply tell you, okay, we are ignoring this vulnerability, in the next version we will fix it, okay. So as a good auditor, when you see your phase 1 report and phase 2 report, in phase 1 whatever bugs are there, in the phase 2 basically you have to patch all those issues. Okay, another one, solution. The client is not there to only ask you what will be the impact, but also sometimes ask you to assist them in the solution, because even they do not know, or their developer do not know what to fix, and what you want from them. Getting a point? So basically they will look for the solution and give them an appropriate solution. It won't be like that. When you go on the vulnerability assessment software, they will give you a generic solution, architecture based, design based, security based. Don't tell these things to the client. The client will get confused where we have to make changes. That's why in our VAPT report we only mention 1 or 2 points, not more than that. Either do this thing or else do this thing. That's it. Otherwise, if you will write down 7 to 8 different type of a solution for them, they will get confused. Either we need to implement all those 7 or one of them. So that's why in the solution, 1 or 2 appropriate one that you think that this particular patch will fix this issue, put that only, okay. Even sometime the client want you to give some alternative option also, because the first option may require a longer time to fix that issue. I just give an example. So let's suppose if a client, if you are having a form, the form having the username and a password, okay, in the username and a password, a brute force, like attacker can do a brute force. Now you wanted to suggest this to the client that your different type of attacks that are happening as a at a authentication page. So either put a captcha or a CSRF token, although RF token, okay, although these two are the both are important, both need to be implemented, but the client may implement CSRF token and will not implement captcha because it's going to take longer time, or maybe they will not implement a CSRF token because it's going to take longer time to developer code and put it everywhere into the application. So in the same way, you have to provide multiple solution to the client. I think this is very much clear. Okay, now coming up to the next one. Okay, so let's suppose CSR token is missing. CSRF token is missing. See, always it's not possible that you are updated with all the vulnerability. Don't worry about it. You keep on updating yourself. That's why. See, there is no limit that vulnerability. These are the set of vulnerability you need to learn. But when you learn those vulnerability, there are different levels into that vulnerability as well. So never think that it's a new vulnerability. Why I do not know about this? So that's why whenever you find a vulnerability, please little bit research on that vulnerability. If it is saying CSRF token is not present, so first thing you need to study what is CSRF. In our upcoming videos, I will be teaching you each and every vulnerability. So don't worry about it that we are not able to understand what is the CSRF, why it is required a token. Okay, so don't worry about it. I will teach you each and everything, but right now we have to understand this. So first you have to understand what is the CSRF and then why token is required. So basically this is a token which is present into the request so that attacker cannot send the same request multiple times. If the login page, a login page, okay, where you have the username and a password, or maybe a contact form that contains some name, mobile number, email ID, and some other information. Now, if that particular page do not contains a CSRF token, RF token, so in that situation, what attacker can do? Attacker can repeat this request multiple times. So it means sending multiple requests on a server to identify the correct pair of username and a password. Understood? And from here, from with the contact form, the attacker can send multiple forms onto the server to create a raw data. Okay, to down the application to put a DOS attack on the database as well. So there are multiple things that attacker can do if the CSR token is there. Now, what is this token? If the token is present into the request, now for every request, you will get a new CSRF token for every request. So I'm going to fill a form. Okay, I'm having one token. I will submit this to the server. Okay, once it reaches to the server, this token is expired now. Now, if I will be using the same request again, the server denies this request by saying that your token is invalid. That's why we always recommend to use enough forms, use CSRF token so attacker cannot repeat the request and do any brute force task. Understood? So this is what this particular vulnerability says, CSRF token. Now it is absent into the feature. Now we have to see where it is absent. Okay, so now what we have to do, go back here in the Zap proxy. Okay, now see there are three other vulnerabilities are also there. We will look after it. Now see, click on it. Now when you click on this category, it will tell you there are three: feedback, login, subscribe. So basically it is telling you that CSRF token, absence of NT CSRF token exists on three different URL. Now one more thing that you need to understand, that when you are finding a vulnerability, it won't be like that you highlighted one vulnerability and playing now game with the developer. It's your chance. You have to identify where what all different endpoints are there where this issues is present. So as a penetration tester, it's our responsibility to highlight the vulnerability on each and every endpoint, where it is present, where it is not present. So let's suppose if you report only one URL, so developer will fix only one URL CSRF token vulnerability at one URL only. So other two will remain open. So that's why whenever we do a testing, we have to test each and every pages, each and every parameter, request, API, whatever it is. Understood? So it is saying that this particular vulnerability exists on three different URLs. Okay, now we are looking at the first URL where we have found this. Now after this, we are going to create a report also that you can, that you can put it into the audit report. Now let's suppose when you click on it, this particular interface, this one, okay, will give you a complete information about this vulnerability. Okay, so now what all, I will just put it over there. Now we will see on this entire screen what all information is present. The first information that is present over here is the vulnerability. Vulnerability. Okay, this is the vulnerability. These are the affected resource. Okay, these are the affected resources that on these three URL the vulnerability present. Now what will be this? This will be the title of vulnerability. This is the affected URL. Okay, now this is the severity. Now this is the evidence, or you can say that right now we will just type evidence, but we will put it into the POC part. Now here we have a CWE EID. Sometimes some auditors put CWE ID, CVE ID into their report so that the developer can directly search for that CVE, CWE and go on to that particular website to search for the solution. You don't need to write too much data into the audit report. Now this will be the description, okay, of one vulnerability. Under this you will see, under this only you will see impact and solution. Okay, one second please. Under this you will see solution and references. Okay, and here you will see the request, and this will be the response of this vulnerability. Understood? This is the entire diagram, that when you click on one vulnerability, what all information you can fetch from this Zap proxy. Now see, one thing that I always recommend to all my students, those who are taking live classes, even also learning here on the YouTube. So if you are trying to put your work in a very simpler way, the client will never like it. So let's suppose if I wanted to hold my ear, so I can hold like this, but the client will always ask want you to perform this type of operation. Understood? So make it little bit more complex, make put some effort into the testing part. Okay, so how you can do that? Basically using different tools. The number of tools that you will increase into the testing process, the client will get more confidence. Because why? One tool have their own specific set of database to the vulnerability. So when you run the same different vulnerability scanner on same target, you will see a different type of vulnerabilities. So let's suppose when you run a Zap proxy, you will get 30 vulnerability. On the same target, when you run the Burp Suite, you will get 20 vulnerability. Maybe on the same target, if you run any other specific software, it will give you 12 vulnerability. So that's why it's every tool can give you different results. So client want that how many tools that you have used to test our application. So if they just wanted to make sure that their application is now fully secure and there is no bug, the priority of this is that only. Understood? So these information you have to fetch from here and you have to put it into the report. But the pain point of this particular tool is that the description that it will give you, the impact it will give you, the solution it will give you, it will be a very generic. You can't paste this particular description, impact, and solution into the report, because even you will also get confused that what it want. Okay, so that's why make sure that the below part, description, impact, solution, and references, you can get it from the chat GPT, okay, or maybe Gemini. And the evidences that you wanted to take, I will just let you know that. So as you can see, I will just remove this. I think this is very much clear to all of you. Please type yes in the chat box if you are clear with this. Anyone, those who are joining it. Aman, Amen. So we are just fixing the issue. So maybe by tomorrow we are able to fix that issue of the recording. So don't worry about it. You will get the recordings within a 1 or 2 days maximum. Okay. So now what we need to do, I think this you have understood. Now when we have clicked on it, so it is telling us that here you can see a form is there. Are you able to see this form? On the response, when on the request part, your request was something like this. From your browser, it is telling to fetch the data for feedback.jsp. In the response, we will be getting the source code from the server. Okay, so in the response, we are able to get this particular page. Now this page, when you see the code of this particular page contains a form. In the form, we have the name, that is the comment, method is post, and action is send feedback. So there is no CSRF token which it is passing into the request. Understood? Oh, sorry, into the form. So if the CSRF token is present, it should be somewhere here inside the form only. So by looking at this, we can say that the token is not present. This is the evidence of it. Okay, so we have manually verified that the token is not present. Now when you go and click on the login page, it is telling in the in this page, when you have requested for login.jsp, in the response we are able to see the code. So when you are looking at the code, analyzing the code, you can see that there is no token is present. So these type of a vulnerability also we can identify while conducting a source code review also. Okay, at that time also we can identify these vulnerability. So what will be the ideal process? First we need to conduct a source code review, then we need to conduct a pen testing, because in source code review such vulnerabilities also get identified. And when you go for a pen testing pen testing, so at that time we are just going to check the logic or business logics, or maybe logical level vulnerabilities which can exist into the application. Understood? So when you click on the third one also say the form do not contain any detail regarding the CSRF token. So that means these three vulnerabilities are valid. Understood? This is how you read the POC. Now these three are confirmed. Good. Now we have a vulnerability, that cross-site scripting. Now first we need to understand what is this cross-site scripting. So the cross-site scripting, we will have a detailed discussion on cross-site scripting. Uh, Mohammed Ayman, I just wanted to tell you one more thing, that our application is getting upgraded now these days. Okay, just because of multiple feature we are adding. So because of that, I think sometime you will face some little bit challenges, but don't worry about it. You will get everything at a proper time. Okay. Now we need to see. So what is cross-site scripting? By the name itself, you can see cross site scripting. So when you see scripting means we are trying to insert some script. Now script can be your different type of scripts are there. So by doing this cross-site scripting, what does it mean? So basically the attacker is trying to insert some JavaScript into the application. Now it is saying cross-site, it means from one website, the original website, to other website. So it means attacker is trying to run the JavaScript which he is having. So let's suppose if I am inserting a JavaScript into the application, it is called as a cross-site, and it's a script that we are inserting, so it's called cross-site scripting. Understood? So the application also contains JavaScripts, because without JavaScript your application cannot function. You have a login page but a submit button is there. Okay, so submit button will not work until and unless your JavaScript will not run. So ideally, your application contains a JavaScript. So it runs, okay, which is there inside the code. But if the attacker is also inserted their JavaScript and if it runs, then it will create a bad impact on the application. Now, what will be the bad impact? We will discuss about it when we will talk about the cross-site scripting vulnerability. Okay, so now we need to see, so at two endpoint, we are finding this vulnerability. Now I will tell you how to do the manual verification. So the first one, when you click on the search.jsp, so it identifies that one URL is there, that is a search.jsp in the query. So first thing, we need to explore this website. We need to explore the website first so that we can see demo.testfire.net. Okay, now as you can see here, we have the search option. Are you able to see that? This is your search option. Just type your name. My name is Tapan. And one more thing, if you are watching this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we are going to complete 100-day series here on this channel. Understood? So that's why I request you to please subscribe the channel. Also like the video if you like the content that we are delivering. It's a purely industry based. What we do in the industry, we are delivering here into our YouTube channel. Okay, so click on a go. So when you click on a go, you will be able to see that search.jsp. Are you able to see that? Search.jsp, and then after that you can see query equals to Tapan. So somewhere here only this payload will work. Now it is saying, sorry, now few things which is present over here. As you can see, the payload is inserted over here. So just after the query, we have inserted our payload. Now what was our payload? The payload is here in the tag payload. Understood? So by looking at this, what we will do, we will just copy this, paste it here in the query and see what will happen if we are able to run the script or not. Now this is a small JavaScript where we are using an alert function and it alerts one over there. So now let's check if it is working or not. Control plus C. Now go here and click submit this script here in the search bar. Okay, now what we need to do, we have to just click on a OK, so go button, so that we can see if we are able to run this JavaScript or not. Just click on go. Now here you can see alert is generated, so that means our JavaScript, we are able to run our JavaScript over here in against of the website. So that means this vulnerability is correct. So in this way, the pen testers verify each and every vulnerability which he found in the vulnerability assessment. Now, sorry. Now in the next video, I will be telling you how to create a POC of it. That is also very important part. When we do the audit, at the time of our testing only, we will perform the we will verify and we will create a report, so that in the end of the audit we do not need to make any headache. Okay, we do not need to take any pressure because the client wants the reports as early as possible. Okay, so this particular series is going to be a purely industry based series. So if you are watching this video from any other country other than India, I request you please hit the like button because this series is gonna be a international series. Okay, and the audits that we are doing, it's for all over the world. Okay, so that will help you a lot if you are preparing for cyber security or penetration testing. On the same on this channel only, we are going to come up with some other series as well. So if you have any doubt in any of the topic, feel free to write down in the comment section. I will be responding you in our next video. I will be taking your questions in our next video. Understood? So, also, if you wanted to do any live one-to-one courses with us on based on the cyber security, on the top of it, you will see a form is present, inquiry form. You can fill that form so that you our team will contact you regarding the courses and the schedule of it. Okay. Yes. Totally depends. See, ultimate gaming, yes, it will work, but totally depend how you are going to, use this tool. Sometime if that particular tool is not working in that situation, what you can do, you can pass the traffic via this tool. It will automatically find the issues. Any more questions, guys, in the chat box? Any more questions? And thank you so much, everyone, for attending the class because it's late. That's why I'm telling. Anyone have any questions? Feel free to ask your question in the chat box. And if you are watching the recording, I request you please join the class in the live session so that you can also ask your questions. And at the same time, you are able to resolve all your doubts and queries. So I think that's all for today. See you on day after tomorrow on the same channel. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.